The Department of Disease Control said on Wednesday that Thailand may have its first case of a new, more transmissible strain of mpox. The patient had arrived from Africa and the health of 43 passengers seated near him on the plane was being closely monitored. DDC Director General Thongchai Kirtihatiakarn said the patient was a 66-year-old European man who had a residence in Thailand and worked in Africa, where mpox is endemic. He had arrived back in Thailand from Africa at 6 p.m. on August 14 on a connecting flight from the Middle East. The following morning, last Thursday, he had a fever and noticed he had a number of small rashes. He quickly went to a hospital for an examination. He was diagnosed with mpox, a viral disease. The initial examination found it was not the previously found clade 2 strain, which was not easily transmissible. Health officials were awaiting the results of in-depth genetic tests. They would confirm if it was a clade 1b type infection. This was a more transmissible strain. So, it is still not 100% confirmed if it is the clade 1b case or not. Officials await genetic comparison test results to confirm it on Friday. There is the possibility, though, Dr. Thongchai said. Although confirmation was still pending, the Director General said, officials were spreading the news so that people could take precautions. It was also beneficial for overall disease control. Dr. Thongchai said the patient had no serious symptoms. Doctors did not think he could have spread the disease widely, because he went to hospital shortly after arriving in the country and he remained there. The Department of Disease Control had identified 43 passengers who sat within 2 rows of him on the plane on August 14, Thailand foreigners. They had been advised to see a doctor immediately if they developed symptoms of illness within 21 days. Dr. Thongchai said the 43 people were not being quarantined and there was no need for the public to be overly concerned. Clade 1b was not as easily transmitted as COVID-19. It could be spread through contact with droplets of liquid from an infected person, but only after that person had developed symptoms, he said. Normally, patients could recover from the virus themselves, unless they had complications or their immune system was weak, Dr. Thongchai said. Thailand's first case of mpox was reported in 2022 and was clade 2 strain. There have been about 800 cases of clade 2 mpox since then, 140 of them this year, Dr. Thongchai said. The News Broadcasting Council of Thailand and the Thai Broadcast Journalists Association on Wednesday asked House Speaker Wan Mohammed Noor Matha for an ethics inquiry into Palang Prakarath Party leader Jen Prawit Wongsawan's action in slapping a reporter last Friday. NBCT President Supan Rakshia said Jen Prawit can be seen on video appearing frustrated and then threatening a reporter. The video shows Jen Prawit, a former deputy prime minister, slapping a reporter on the head with his right hand after she asked him about the House having elected Pheu Thai Party leader Paetongtarn Shinawatra the new prime minister. This is not the first time for this kind of behavior by this politician. We are talking about ethics and the mass media doing its duty, which must be protected, Mr. Supan said. A standard should be set to make politicians aware that we are not in conflict. We do our duty, reporting information and incidents. If sources or politicians are not willing to answer, please just say no comment, Mr. Supan said. The complaint referred to clauses 12 and 13 of the Code of Conduct for members of the House of Representatives and its committees. Clause 12 stipulates that MPs and committee members must respect the rights and freedoms of others, and must not act or speak in a manner insulting to others. Clause 13 says MPs and House committee members must not act in a threatening manner or assault other people during meetings, at the Parliament and in other places. Offenders can be warned or condemned, or be required to apologize to a session of the House. Jen Prawit's Palang Prakarath is the third biggest coalition party with 40 MPs. However, the party's Secretary General, Thamanat Prampao, on Tuesday announced the formation of an independent faction loyal to him rather than to Jen Prawit. He said he had 29 party MPs on his side. Mr. Thamanat was Agriculture Minister in the previous government led by Srettha Thavisin. His rebellion flowered amid speculation the party will not nominate him for reappointment to the cabinet because of his questionable background. Mr. Thamanat served 4 years in an Australian prison after being convicted in 1994 of conspiring to import heroin into Australia. A group of lawyers and university law lecturers have criticized the Constitutional Court's recent rulings to dissolve the Move Forward Party, MFP, and dismiss Srettha Thavisin as Prime Minister. The group, comprising 134 law experts, released a statement critical of the court for allegedly overstepping its power, which could potentially undermine the country's system of checks and balances. The statement refers to the two rulings, one made on August 7, in which the Constitutional Court ordered the MFP to be disbanded for attempting to subvert the constitutional monarchy and 11 party executives to be banned from politics for 10 years. The other was passed on August 14 against Mr. Srettha for appointing ex-convict Pikit Chunban as a cabinet minister. The experts said they disagreed with both rulings, which they attributed to the court's interpretation of related laws. This interpretation is inconsistent with the law's basic principle and could endanger the rule of democracy. The legal experts outlined 4 reasons to counter the rulings. First, they maintained that the court may have overstretched its authority, which resulted in the MFP being dissolved, its executives facing a political ban, and Mr. Srettha being removed from the premiership. They insisted that if the law was applied to curtail a person's rights, it must be done restrictively and cautiously. In the MFP case, the court determined its authority goes so far as covering its judgment of crucial issues such as the party's policy administration and legislative amendment power. In the Srettha case, the court insisted the scope of a prime minister's dishonest and unethical acts extend over their reckless nomination of a person with questionable qualifications, a reference to Mr. Pikit, as a cabinet minister. Second, the Constitutional Court did not permit the accused to fully and fairly present evidence and witnesses in their own defense. The court accepted certain pieces of evidence and witnesses in the MFP case. However, the court did not allow the party to testify or counter accusations during the proceedings. Third, by judging the MFP guilty of acting to undermine the constitutional monarchy, the court has expanded its authority beyond its limit and may be deemed to be asserting a role of keeping the lawmakers in check, which obstructs the checks and balances between the legislative, executive and the judicial branches. Disrupted checks and balances could imperil the protection of people's rights and freedom and the independence of lawmakers in doing their duty, according to the statement. Lastly, the experts felt the rulings have dented public confidence, both at home and abroad, in the country's legal system and democratic rule.